She's feminine, she's frail, she's naive, and yes, she's a hero. Welcome, scribes of the extraordinary. Today, we're going beyond entertainment and diving deeper into the craft of storytelling by talking about Cress. Today, we're going to be unpacking the character of Cress primarily in her book. If you are interested in the first two videos where we cover the first two books of the Lunar Chronicles, are going to be a link right here for you. But today, we're going to be talking about Cress. How can a frail, shy, hopeless romantic, sheltered daydreamer possibly be a strong character? I mean, typically these traits are very childish, they're very naivety, and it's something you grow out of, right? Well, Cress allows these childish traits and these feminine traits to help her transform without necessarily leaving them behind. Let's unpack how femininity and youthful imagination can actually be powerful assets. So, strength number one that Cress showcases is daydreaming as a source of confidence and creativity. Cress is a daydreamer. She's so often pretend she's an opera singer or she's an actress walking down the red carpet or that she's a princess being saved. She's so into her imagination, and this is often viewed as very childish, but it's this imagination and this daydreaming that actually fuels any sense of courage that this girl has. But when she's trying to infiltrate the palace, she's like, "Okay, I am an actress. I am a movie star, and I belong here. Look at how fabulous I am. I'm prim, I'm proper, I'm a dainty, wonderful woman." And she turns on this imagination and turns on this daydreaming in order to be in the role that she needs to be in order to be covert. So she uses daydreaming to help her through situations. So the takeaway for you for this is embrace daydreaming as a way to boost your character's confidence and creativity. Imagination is not only for children. I mean, hey, I'm in my 20s and I love writing and telling stories and breaking down stories for you all and helping other people write. I love imagination. I want you all to fuel your own imagination. Don't let imagination die for your characters. It is a strong asset, which leads right into tip number two, which is imagination as a tool for innovation. Cress's strong imagination is often dismissed as fanciful, but it's the key to her hacking prowess. Cress is a tech wizard, and it is so cool to see a character who, physically is rather frail and can't do very much. She's, when it comes to situations like survival, being lost in the desert. She has no survival skills. She's been indoors her whole life, so she's pale and she insta fries and she doesn't have shoes and it's terrible. Any physical challenge is a big hurdle for Cress. But when it comes to technology, she's able to get into anything, control anything, do anything. And that's because her imagination is so powerful. Her mind is so strong, so sharp, so innovative. She can see connections between things that most people could not. So her imagination enables her to think beyond conventional methods and creatively solve problems. So here's the tip for you is leverage your character's innovation to think outside the box. We love giving characters a challenge and seeing them overcome it. Another great example, not from the Lunar Chronicles, but a great example of this is in Avatar The Last Airbender, where Katara and Toph are thrown into a wooden prison, and Katara uses her sweat in order to waterbend their way out. Make your characters innovative, make them really fun problem solvers, let them think outside the box. That way, we as the audience can go, "Oh, yeah, they figured it out so satisfying. Trait number 3 to take from Cress is romanticism as a path for empathy and positivity. Cress is a hopeless romantic. In her first introduction, her first introduction with Thor is great because she's been daydreaming and hoping for this man, and she's like, "Oh, he's gonna come and he's gonna rescue me. I'm his damsel in distress." And there he is on the screen. Then she instantly goes, "Ah." It's great. But she's such a helpless romantic that she sees Thorn as a hero. And Thorn, a hero, he is not at all. Unlike with Scarlet and Wolf, where Scarlet saw deeper into who Wolf was and saw what he had forced to repress, which is that goodness in him. Cress is like, you are a hero. And Thorn's like, what are you talking about? But the fact that Cress romanticized and was so positive towards who Thorn was, he actually ended up becoming that. He never thought that he could be a hero. He never thought that he could be good. He never thought that he could be selfless. And her belief in him, granted, falsely founded at the start, but that positivity, that unwavering positivity was, yeah, the naivety kind of died with Cress when she's like, okay, you aren't this guy, but you could be. And he started realizing, I can be, and I will be. So her romantic nature builds trust and positive relationships. It encourages positive relationships. Why? Because when you have this outlook on life that, if you're a romantic, well, things are beautiful, things work, things click, you can get through problems because there's something good on the other side of the problem. And this personality of Cress really helps people have hope because they are in very dire, hopeless situations a lot of this series, especially towards the end. So the tip here is to emphasize this strength of empathy and positivity. It can come from a place of maybe a little bit naivety, of being a hopeless romantic, but you can showcase how seeing the world as beautiful and relationships as beautiful and seeing the best in people, even if it's not there, can actually lead to meaningful connections and it can lead to change in other people. Trait number 4 is courage in vulnerability. Cress was a very, very, very sheltered child, and she very much is written as a very sheltered child. But because of that, she has this yearning for adventure and trying new things. And she has this courage from being so vulnerable. Because even though through her sheltered upbringing, she demonstrates bravery by stepping outside of her comfort zone and facing fears head on. Because guess what? Everything is outside of her comfort zone. Everything that she has ever anything is outside of her comfort zone. She's been dreaming of traveling Earth and seeing everything because she's been seeing Earth from a roaming satellite for 8, 9 years. She was very young when she was taken to the satellite. But even though she's very vulnerable and sheltered, she still has that courage to step out. Why? Because that sheltered upbringing spurred inside her this sense of adventure, that even though she's scared, she's still willing to go. She's willing to take risks that lead to personal growth and to success, and she does end up going to see the world. She ends up with the man that she fantasized about because she thought he was a hero and he wasn't. And then he ends up becoming a hero, and their relationship is a great example of infatuation doesn't make a relationship. It doesn't make romance work. But it can be a starting point, and they both grow to trust each other and love each other genuinely, and their relationship is adorable. But I am getting on a tangent. So I encourage you, embrace your characters being vulnerable. When your characters are vulnerable and take risks, that is even greater because it showcases how much courage they have. Cress went into multiple palaces, snuck in order to do her job. At one point, she was handed a gun, and she's, like, holding it like that. I imagine her just kind of going like, okay, just like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't wanna use it. It scares me. I don't wanna deal with this. Why do I have a weapon? Why did they give me a weapon? I don't know what to do." But because she's so vulnerable, the fact that she actually picks up the gun and carries it around very funnily, or that she actually sneaks into the palaces, it showcases how great her courage is. 'Cause they all have something to lose, but she doesn't have the capabilities the others have. She doesn't have that innate courage or charisma or technological mind or willingness to go like, "Yeah, let's fight. I will do whatever." She's terrified, she's timid, she's vulnerable, and yet she overcomes that anyways. So use vulnerability. Make your characters vulnerable. That way, when they take action, it's even more powerful. Makes those crucial moments even stronger. Cress is an incredibly compelling character, and you can write someone as compelling as her too. If you need a little extra help in your character development process, down in the description below is going to be a character and story creation blueprint. I designed this workbook specifically for you all with the intention of finding out who your character is at their core and using that as the springboard to create your wonderful story. So if that sounds like something that would be helpful to you, check out the link in the description below. Trait number 5 Cress showcases is emotional intelligence and how that affects building trust. Cress is a very gentle soul. She's very tender-hearted, and she has a lot of empathy, and she's very quick to trust people. Now, this is a good thing when it comes to Cinder and her crew. This is a bad thing when she and Thorn get stranded and people that rescue them find out that she's a shell and sell her to her father, that she finds out at the end of the book is her father. But she's so apt and willing to trust people that it's infectious. Her trust in Thorn, believing that he can become a good man, even if he wasn't, helps lead him to that. Cress gets Jason to work with her. Mr. Cold-hearted, I can't show my emotions or like anyone or showcase that I love anyone because they will probably be instantly killed just so someone can bother me. Jason, she ends up winning him over and he ends up helping her. Why? Because she's empathetic and she trusts him. Her empathy also plays a large role in helping she and Thorn survive. And in the climax of the book Cress, she helps Thorn function because he can't see. She helps him aim, point the gun, so that he can take out the bad guys because she's like, I don't know what to do, but we're going to have to work together and I will trust you to pull off what you need to. So her emotional intelligence plays a rather pivotal role in not only her character arc, but in keeping the team together as a whole. The tip for this section is use emotional intelligence. Showcase your character having emotional intelligence to create influential and compassionate leaders. People follow people that they like. People follow people that they trust. Cress just happens to take this first step in trusting others and being open. Trait number 6 is redefining heroism through inner strength. Now, Cress challenges traditional stereotypes of heroism and strength by not being physically adept really in any way, shape, or form. She's frail. She's been sheltered her whole life. She hasn't been outside of like a bedroom sized area, maybe a tiny bit bigger, for more than 8 years. So a lot of her, she's not very physically capable, and that's perfectly fine, but she has so many inner strengths. She's determined and resilient, even though she's scared, even though she's frail. She's willing to go into dangerous situations. She's willing to hold a gun that she's never probably even looked at, let alone held, and absolutely hasn't shot one before. She doesn't know what she's doing with a weapon, but she takes it anyways because she knows that she needs that advantage because she is weaker than everybody else. Pretty much in the story, maybe with the exception of Winter, who we'll talk about next time. She doesn't back down because she knows she's physically incapable. And that's one of Cress's greatest strengths, is her mind is strong, her heart is huge, and she trusts people and she loves others and she's willing to do difficult things even though she may not be very strong, but she's very strong. So I encourage you, redefine heroism with your stories and with your characters. Value traits like kindness, intelligence, and emotional strength will really elevate who your character is and make them so much stronger and so much more impactful. The final trait that Cress exudes is the power of love and hope. We touched on her romantic nature earlier, and her belief in love gives Cress hope and motivation, and it drives her action forwards. And if it affects nobody else, the fact that Cress has so much hope in her and so much love in her is a driving force for her to actually be helpful in the narrative a lot. She takes a lot of risks that people in her situation with her capabilities probably wouldn't take, but she's so full of hope and love. She wants to protect these people who rescued her, her family now. It becomes a driving force for her actions and her decisions, is to protect those she loves, even though she's not much of a fighter or a protector. So hope and love serve as motivation. They inspire her to run headlong into danger, to sneak around in the midst of gunfire, to break into well-secured palaces and take over their entire computing system. It allows her to grow and to change. So the tip for you is harness your character's love and hope as a catalyst for positive change and personal growth. Because Cress loves the people around her, she also ends up, reminding them of hope, of what they're fighting for. She never gives up hope. And in all the hopeless situations that these characters are in, they need every ounce of hope they can get. So Cress is a weak powerhouse, and she's wonderful. Remember, your character can be strong and frail. For Cress, she's intellectually brilliant. She's creative and imaginative, and she's hopeful and full of love, is so romantic about the world around her. We all need to see the beauty and see the good. Sometimes hope is the greatest weapon against darkness. So look at Lord of the Rings. Sam's whole thing is hope, loyalty, loyalty, hope, hope. He's the reason why the ring gets destroyed. Cress's hope and her love for the crew is the reason why they stick together and can get through some really difficult times and why they win over more allies. If you like this video, I really appreciate a like and subscribe, and let me know, which of these tips are you going to incorporate into your story? Which of these things that typically seem like weaknesses will you turn into and showcase as strength? Personally, emotional intelligence is something that I'm currently weaving into my work in progress. What about you? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And my Scribes of the Extraordinary, that's all I have for you today. I look forward to our next encounter as we continue our journey of going beyond entertainment, one step at a time. And if you want to see another video about a strong character who's very feminine, check out this video right here.